Hi, I'm Simon and welcome to Aber Adventures Wetsuit Buyer's Guide. Just going to give you a little bit more information about what wetsuits are designed to do, how they're constructed, the different types of entry systems, and also the different types of wetsuit that are available. Wetsuits are basically panels of neoprene which are sewn together. There are other materials becoming available, and these are designed to trap a layer of water and in some cases air next to your skin and keep you warm. They also have certain areas, especially on the core, which are designed to keep the elements out, so the wind and cold water. So most wetsuits that are of good quality tend to use a seam that we call glued and blind stitched. This basically means that the seam is waterproof, and I'm just going to come a little closer to show you, and it's glued together and then the seam is then stitched. This means the seam is waterproof, and what also happens on better suits is they will use either fabric taping or liquid taping in order to make sure that the seam is 100% waterproof. A lot of the modern suits that are coming out now, because the gluing technology is so good, so this is a stitchless wetsuit seam and it's basically just glued together. A cheaper wetsuit use other stitching methods such as flat lock stitching, and this is basically a non-waterproof seam, and the wetsuit is layered on top of each other and then it is stitched just through it, so it's not a waterproof seam, and these tend to be the cheapest suits on the market. But the suits that you guys are concerned in are these ones. So this wetsuit, which is what we call a chest zip wetsuit. So with this one, it basically means you climb in through here. There's no back zip, so that increases stretch on the back, and then this flap here comes over your head and seals on the front, so you get minimum water penetration and maximum flexibility. These are quite difficult to get into, so some people prefer to have a traditional back zip wetsuit where there's a zip at the back allowing for quite a large entry area, small flap to stop water coming in, and then on the better wetsuits with a back zip entry you'll tend to have a completely sealed panel which goes over your neck, and that stops all water entering through the zip. So all these wetsuits here are what we call UK winter suits. Most winter suits tend to be 5mm on the majority of the wetsuit, and then usually on the arms they actually tend to be a little bit thinner, so maybe 4mm or even 3mm, just because it's not so important to keep those warm and you need more flexibility here for movement. So with the warmest of the winter wetsuits, which tend to be a 654 like this one, you often get a built-in hood. So summertime use, many people have a wetsuit that is only 3mm and 2mm, and very often in the very warmest months of July and August some people only wear a shorty, which is basically a very small wetsuit. Arms are cut off here, legs finished down just above the knee. So hopefully with all this information you can then go out and make an informed choice about which wetsuit's right for you. In our site, every wetsuit has a little guide underneath it which says, is this wetsuit right for me? It will give you a little bit more information as to what its intended use is, so the activities, and also what time of year it will be suitable for using.